Welcome to the LifeQuote portal training and help guides. In this session, I'll be showing you how to obtain a multi-benefit quotation. To enter the client's details, click Quote. Enter the client's name, sex, date of birth, smoker status, his employment status, and the date at which he plans to retire, or click on retirement date and it will set the state retirement age for your client. You can enter your client's occupation, choose from the drop-down list, your client's annual earned income, and any additional income if applicable. Next, you enter the client's household expenses. What is your current residential status? Owned with mortgage, owned outright, renting, or with parents? In this example, I shall choose owned with mortgage. You can say whether this is a new or existing mortgage and select the type of mortgage. The type of mortgage will drive the type of protection that the portal presumes the client would need to repay this mortgage in the event of death or earlier critical illness. A repayment mortgage will assume a reducing life and critical illness policy. Interest only will assume a level policy. Split will provide an amount of each. So you can override this by saying your client has a repayment mortgage, but you're recommending a level term policy, or they have a split mortgage and you're recommending a level term policy. In this example, I shall say the client has a repayment mortgage. You can say the outstanding mortgage amount and the outstanding mortgage term. The monthly mortgage payment can be added manually, or if you click on typical repayment, the system will work out for you a mortgage rate of 5%. Monthly household expenses can also be added manually. You can use the budget planner provided to add up the client's outgoings, or if you set maximum, the system will work out for you the maximum benefit the client can claim based on 50% of their income, taking into account the amount they'll already be claiming for their mortgage payment. The system assumes that the client would want to split any income protection into two parts: a level income protection to protect their mortgage payment and an indexed income protection to protect their household expenses. You can say whether these expenses apply to both applicants if the application is joint. Next, it asks whether the client has any dependents. Here you can enter anybody that is financially dependent upon your client. In this example, I'm going to say that my client has two dependents: his wife Susie, who shall be dependent upon his income until she is 65. I can say that she is his wife and select the protection type. I can choose to provide a family income benefit for her in the event of the client's death, or a level term policy. I'm going to add a second dependent, a son aged 3, who I shall say will be dependent until he is aged 21. And this time I shall choose family income benefit. Save the details. Then ask whether my client receives any sick pay from his employer that he could live off in the event of being unable to work due to illness. And then does the client have any savings that they could live off in the event of illness? These two periods will be added together to arrive at a deferred period for any income protection. Next, click on Quote under the multi-benefit quotation heading. You are then presented with a list of benefits that the client can choose from in order of priority. These things can be moved into the correct order to suit the individual client, and they can also be declined if there is existing cover in place, or declined if they're simply not required. To decline an option, highlight the one you wish to move and select the appropriate decline option. To reorder the priority list, select the one you wish to move, and using the arrows on the right-hand side, move the priority into the correct position. Once the priorities are in the correct order, a monthly budget can be set. This can be anything between £10 and £1,000, but defaults to £50 a month. It is worth noting at this point that the priorities speak about the situation that the client is going to be protecting. For example, repay the mortgage if Simon Smith dies, rather than talking about a decreasing life policy. It talks about providing a continuing income to the child dependent of Mr. Simon Smith on his death rather than family income benefit. The system includes a contingency life cover and a contingency critical illness policy, as well as covering the household expenses, providing an income to adult dependents, and covering the mortgage payments due to long-term illness, and repaying the mortgage if the client becomes critically ill. Once the priorities are set and anything that needs to be declined has been taken out, we can proceed to the next stage. The quotations are then obtained from the life companies, asking them to quote on priority 1, then 1 and 2, and so on, until all the priorities have been quoted in one plan, so that the client only has one application, one lot of underwriting, and one direct debit. The results are displayed with priority 1 at the bottom. The ticks indicate that these priorities are within the client's budget, and the crosses indicate that those priorities are outside the client's budget. We have repay the mortgage if Simon Smith dies at £8.98. The details tell us that Legal & General are offering the cheapest premium, but that the other insurers are also able to offer that life cover. When we add in priority 2, repaying the mortgage if Mr. Smith becomes critically ill, the premium increases to £28.73, and Aviva are now the cheapest provider. When we include priority 3, cover the mortgage payments if Mr. Smith is unable to work due to long-term illness, the premium increases to £41.78, and Scottish Provident are now the cheapest provider. The premium displayed next to each priority is a cumulative premium of that priority and all those underneath. So for £45.88, my client will receive 4 benefits. He will have life and critical illness, income protection for the mortgage payments, and a continuing income of family income benefit for his child dependents. Because I set the budget at £50, the 5th priority, which would take us up to £89.07, is outside of the shaded area and has a cross next to it. But if my client wished to include that, simply put the cursor next to the premium and it tells me I've reset the budget. The system has to make certain assumptions about the sums assured and the deferred periods, etc. that it produces. So we can then use the amend quote button on the bottom right hand side to arrive at a quotation that is exactly right for our client. All the priorities that have been quoted for are now able to be edited. I have mortgage protection with critical illness to protect the £200,000 mortgage I says my client has. I can change this sum assured, and I can also change the critical illness to be reviewable. Level income protection for my mortgage payments. I can change the sum assured, the deferred period, and the term. Index-linked family income benefit for the child dependent starts at 20% of the client's net income. Again, I can change the sum assured and the term, which is taking the child up to age 21. For an adult dependent, it assumes 50% of the client's net income will be needed, and because I've chosen a level term option, it has calculated the amount required for me. By clicking on the question mark, I can look at the calculation that has been used. Contingency critical illness starts at £20,000 for the maximum term available to the client, and again this can be changed to reviewable. The contingency critical illness cover is actually a level life and critical illness plan, so it has the additional life element built into it. Contingency life cover is an index-linked level life policy which starts at 1 year's salary. Again, this can be changed to suit the client, and the term has been provided as the maximum available. Any of these values can be changed to either maximise the client's budget or to arrive at the terms that the client needs. If we change any of these options and hit proceed, it would re-quote for us. But I shall return to the default selection. Once the client is happy with the priorities that have been provided, we can proceed. Now brings us through to the apply stage. If you'd like to know more about the apply options, please see the separate training and help guide on the home page. Hope that you have found this session useful, and you can see further options on the home screen. Thank you.